Hello everyone, Mr. E here, and welcome back to another episode of Mr. E Talks Movies, a series where I go over the various movies that I've seen and I explain them and I give my own opinions about them. And, as always guys, thank you so much for all the support I've been getting on this channel lately. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe so that you don't miss any more content. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, for today's episode, we're going to be taking a break from the family-friendly movies that I've went over the past 3 episodes, and I'm going to mix things up by watching something a little bit R-rated. So yeah, just a little bit of a warning. The stuff I'm going to be going over is pretty graphic, so just be warned. And so yeah, the movie I'm going to be talking about tonight is the 1995 classic crime drama, The Usual Suspects. This movie came out in 1995 and is constantly praised by movie fanatics such as myself. And so yeah, let's get right into it. So after the opening credits, yeah, there's this boat, and well, the movie basically tells that there was a big bloody shootout on the boat, and there's a lot of broken stuff. Some stuff's on fire. There's like barrels of gasoline that are leaking, and there is one dude that's like leaning back lighting a cigarette. His name is Dean Keaton, and he's played by Gabriel Byrne. Anyway, he drops the cigarette, and the gasoline or whatever, it kind of like lights up a little. But then, a mysterious figure pisses out the fire. The mysterious figure then goes up to Keaton and, well, he freaking kills him with a gun. He then lights another cigarette for himself, drops it into the gasoline, and a big explosion follows. And it cuts back to later, where the only person that's seen the whole thing, he goes up to the DA and informs them about the events prior, where he tells them about a weapons truck that gets hijacked 6 weeks prior in New York City. The movie then tells about the 6 weeks ago, are before the events of the big shootout. And it's then that we're introduced to the movie's main cast, where they gather a group of individuals who go up to the police lineup. They're saying that they are potential suspects of the weapons truck hijacking. Their characters are, of course, Dean Keaton, as previously discussed, a guy named Michael McManus, played by Stephen Baldwin, a guy named Todd Hockney, played by Kevin Pollak, Fred Fenster, played by Benicio del Toro, and lastly we have the guy earlier that tells the DA about the thing. His name is Roger Kent, but everyone calls him Verbal. He's played by Kevin Spacey, and he's kind of a little bit of a physically handicapped. Like he's got a little bit of, So yeah, we get to the most iconic scene of the movie, the police lineup scene, where the 5 of them are in that one room with the background wall with all the lines depicting height and all that, and they have to repeat a particular phrase. And so yeah, after that, they're chilling they're chilling in this big area, and they have like a big discussion between the 5 of them. Apparently these guys are usually the ones that are usually picked by the New York police, that usually whenever a crime happens and they can't really pick up a suspect, they usually go to these guys because of their criminal record. Yeah, all these guys did crimes, and they're all pretty cool in their own right. Dean Keaton used to be a cop, but then he has like a criminal record on him. Michael McManus, he's kind of like a little bit of an oddball and comic relief. I really like that guy. Fred Fenster, he's like Michael's partner. He's kind of like really smart, and he's got like an accent. And Hockney, he just doesn't really give much of what's going on. So, yeah, they realize that they're always picked for something, and I don't know, they somehow have a hunch that something's up, something's gonna happen. And then we're greeted with a group of law enforcers. His name, there's a U.S. Customs agent named Dave Kuan, or however I mispronounced the name. I don't really think that matters. I'm just gonna call him Dave. And then there's also Sergeant Jeff Rabin from the L.A. Police Department. Anyways, they come with the decision that they're going to ask Roger Kent, the lone survivor of the entire shootout. There's like 2 survivors in that whole thing. One is, of course, Verbal, and the other is one of the dudes from the shootout. He's in a coma and he's in the hospital. Anyway, the guy with the coma is being looked at by an FBI agent named Jack Bear, played by Giancarlo Esposito. Dave and Jeff are going to interrogate Verbal about all the events that happened prior to the shootout. Mostly it's very bloody. There's like 20-something people were dead, and apparently it was something to do with $91 million of drugs that apparently was not there. So yeah, this ought to be interesting. You got Jack Bear in the hospital, this one dude, along with 2 doctors, Dr. Walters and Dr. Plummer. And apparently the guy in the hospital wakes up. Apparently he's talking out a foreign language, and this part is very important. He mentions a thing called Kaiser Solse. You guys might want to remember that phrase. That's a very important name. That's gonna be a thing later. So anyway, Verbal's hanging in Dave's office, and he's just staring at the bulletin board behind his desk. So yeah, then they come in and they talk for a little bit. Verbal starts talking absolute nonsense and small talk, like the barbershop quartet he was in Skokie, Illinois, as well as a handful of other names like Kip Diskin and John Paul, and as well as how he enjoys, as well as when he gets his coffee, and how he said something about getting his coffee beans from like Guatemala, because that's just how he likes his coffee. And so anyway, he's told to explain everything that happens that happened between him and his 5, suspect friends or whatever. Cuts back to the 6 weeks ago, where Verbal, Dean, Todd, Michael, and Fred, they come up with this plan or whatever. They want to try and do a thing to get the police off their back so that they stop doing the lineups or whatever. And that's when they learn about I don't know how, it's kind of hard to explain. So there's like this thing in LA, and they decide to like go there and do it. Apparently there's like some corrupt law enforcement in the area, and smugglers are like getting police escorts to where they need to go and sell stuff. And one dude is one of the smugglers is in a cop car. The 5 guys, they use a van, and they come up with guns, and they kind of like they trap the car, and they kind of like trash it a little, break the windshield, and steal a bunch of stuff from them, like wallets and whatnot, and then they light the car on fire. Then the cops and the smugglers survive, fortunately. So that's cuts back to the hospital where the survivor is, I don't know, still speaking foreign languages, but fortunately they got like a translator. It says that, I don't know, he saw the devil. Well, it's not exactly the devil, it's more of a guy, and his name is, as it turns out, his name is Kaiser Sose, and we'll get to that later. And we cut back to the office where Verbal and Dave are, and they I don't know, argue for a little bit about, like, Dave's like, all right, Verbal, this is gotta go somewhere. This just sounds like nothing but right now, so you better get to something. And then he says something about a guy named Kobayashi, and we'll get to that name in a bit. But for now, we gotta talk about one thing in LA that they did. They, I don't know, find out one of the guys from the smugglers or whatever, they meet a guy. Apparently he's McManus's friend. His name is Redfoot. That's a strange name for a guy. And well, he tells the five about a job or whatever, about the guy he works for. And if they basically succeed in this job, they'll be able to, I don't know, meet the guy that, I don't know, that's been troubling them, and they'll I don't know, help them out. So yeah, they meet this one dude in a parking garage. They basically raid the place, kill the guy's bodyguards, and then Verbal basically kills the dude in the car containing a case, which later they find out that it turned out to be filled with cocaine. So they give it back to Redfoot, and they're like, what is this? You said this would be money. This isn't money. This is. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then he just leaves. But yeah, at least he did say that, I don't know, he could be getting a little bit closer to, I don't know, the big shot that they keep referring to in the movie. I cut back to the police station. Bear's there, and he tells Jeff and Dave about the guy in the hospital. Tells them about the name Kaiser Sose. His name's Kaiser Sose. I always mispronounce that, and I don't know. Dave starts storming in and interrogating Verbal, like, who the hell is Kaiser Sose? And then the way he explains it is actually really cool. It's very gruesome, but also pretty, I don't know. It's kind of dark, but, it's kind of fitting for this movie. He explains that Kaiser Sose is basically a criminal mastermind, and does a lot of crazy stuff. He's an absolute psychopath. He basically explained this one story about how his home back in Turkey. His house got raided by a bunch of bandits, and they kind of hold the wife and the kid and the kids hostage. Yeah, they rape the wife, and they kind of have like a knife to one of the kids. And then when Kaiser comes back, one of the crooks slits the throats of one of the kids. So then he pulls out a gun and shoots the two guards, and well, the two kids and the wife, they're still standing, are there. One of the guards are dead, and well, guy's just standing there with the gun, and you know what he does. He turns to the wife and the kids and shoots them. And then it's a sign of weakness or whatever. He doesn't shoot the one mob guy. He lets him get away for now. And then after the family gets buried, he goes out to kill that guy and all the other guys in that mob. And then he killed their wives and their kids, and then their parents, and then their parents' friends, and so on and so forth. So yeah, basically, Keyser Söze is this just overall just a really bad dude. Anyways, they're hanging out in this one place, and then they're greeted by Kobayashi, who turns out to be a guy working for Keyser Söze, and he's played by Pete Postlethwaite. I don't know how you pronounce that name. Basically, he's telling them that he's got like a job for them where they have to like stop a big drug deal in the wharf of L.A. and I don't know, steal $91 million worth of drugs, and they'll basically, if he does that, he'll guarantee Keyser Söze he'll be off their back forever. But if they don't, then Söze he'll kill him. Simple as that. And I don't know, to tell him they mean business. Oh yeah, I forgot. Apparently, Kobayashi is also responsible for setting up the overall lineup, and basically threatens the 5 guys, saying that all 5 of them have stolen from Söze at some point, whether it be something from 2 years ago or that, well, as for Keaton, it was that weapons truck hijack a while back. So yeah, to show he means business, when he leaves, he gives them a suitcase. It's basically full of documents that basically just contain all their secrets. He knows everything about them, about their families and I don't know where they live and all that, all of their government secrets and all that. So yeah, I guess that's one way to blackmail them. And well, as Verbal tells Dave about Söze, he says that he's very, very elusive and hard to catch. And he says after this whole fiasco with the wharf thing, you'll probably never hear from him again. After a lot of arguments throughout this next part between, I don't know, Dave and Verbal, and basically he explains Myster, Del Toro's character, he basically just takes a bit of the money and he just bails. Yeah, he's kind of too scared of Keyser, and then I don't know, 2 days later they get a call from Kobayashi, tells them where to find Myster, and you know what? He's dead. Yeah, they find him on a beach in a cave, and they bury him. So they go up to this skyscraper. It's like still under construction, but operational. Anyway, Kobayashi's there with his 2 bodyguards. I don't know, they hijack the elevator. They kill the 2 guards and basically takes him up to a place that's still under construction. And I'm a little fuzzy on this dialogue here. A lot more blackmail and threatening follows. Yeah, apparently they have Dean's girlfriend hostage. And I forgot to mention he has a girlfriend. Yeah, after that whole thing where he's like used to be a cop and he went to jail a couple times, he tries to put his life back together and I don't know, spend time with his girlfriend, but yeah. Considering he's a convicted criminal, that can't happen, you know? after a little bit, they go to the pier where the drug deal is being dealt. This is where the real fun starts. Yeah, they each get. So yeah, each of the five. I mean four. There's four guys now. They each get guns, and I don't know. Dean's telling Dean's giving verbal instructions on what to do during this heist. Basically, just while all the chaos is going on, just take the truck with all the money and just make a run for it and all that. Yeah, he stays. So yeah, verbal kind of stays behind for a little bit, and then the chaos starts. There's guns flailing, a lot of guys getting shot. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. They make their way into the boat. They search the boat, kill a bunch of more guys, trying to find all the drugs and steal them. So yeah, we cut to Todd Hockney. He goes up to the truck where all the money is. He finds the money, and he gets shot. He turns around, and apparently a mysterious figure comes up out of nowhere and kills him. So yeah, that's a real shame. I really liked that guy. Because then they realize that Dean and Michael, they then realize that there's no drugs on the boat. As it turns out, the boat actually does not have any drugs. Instead, it has a guy. Apparently, his name is Arturo. He's from, Brazil, I think. The characters in the movie explain that he's the only guy that's still alive that could incriminate Kaiser Sose and all that. They know who Kaiser Sose is and all that. And so yeah, out of nowhere, the mysterious figure that kills Todd kills Arturo too, eventually followed by Michael. Yeah, there's a majority of the goons are dead. So yeah, Dean and Michael meet up, and then Dean asks Michael, what happened? And then Michael's like, the funniest thing. And then he dies, revealing that he has like a knife stabbed in the back of his head. I don't know, somewhere in this area. You gotta admit, that's brutal. And then Dean gets shot too, leans back on like a bunch of containers, and basically everything's fallen into place. The mysterious figure kills Dean, lights up the fire, causes the explosion, while Verbal watches the whole thing. It cuts back to Dave and Verbal arguing at the office. Basically, Dave is convinced that Dean was Kaiser Sose, and he may have been responsible for killing his girlfriend. Yeah, his girlfriend's dead now. So yeah, of course, Verbal was very sad. I mean, Dean was his friend and all that, and it's like, but why did he let me go? Why couldn't I save him? But it's like I was scared. That's why. So yeah, they couldn't really find anything else to do with Verbal at the moment, so they just kind of set him on his way. So yeah, it cuts back to the office. Dave and Jeff are there. They're hanging in the office, getting ready to close the case and dismiss the whole thing altogether, until he looks at the bulletin board behind his desk. Apparently, a lot of stuff that Virgil says throughout this movie was on that bulletin board. The barbershop quartet. There's like the quartet logo at the edge of the bulletin board. It's based in Skokie, Illinois. The names Kip Diskin, John Paul. There's like a Guatemala flyer. Even Kobayashi is at the bottom of Dave's mug. And then that's when Dave realizes, holy he made up the whole thing! And then he kind of just rushes out of the office, trying to find Verbal, and who's now just walking down the street, and I don't know, gets back to Bear, still in the office, receiving a fax from the hospital, apparently with a sketch that they kind of like put together from the survivor of from that one dude in the hospital. Apparently the sketch he made up looks very much like Verbal. And so yeah, that's problematic. And so yeah, Dave runs through the nearby street trying to find Verbal. Well, as it turns out, he's not crippled at all. He was faking it. And yeah, he hops into a car and they drive away. Yeah, I said they because guess what? Kobayashi was in the car too. And so yeah, the two of them, they drive off away forever. And Dave's just like looking around like, holy crap, he's gone. It's like what Verbal says. It's like he does a thing, and then next thing you know, it's gone. So yeah, most of the movie was okay, but I don't know. The real stuff that happens in this movie happens during like the last like half an hour. That's where the good stuff is. That's where the really intense stuff is. You think this movie would be a crime thriller? No, it's a I don't know. It's some kind of psychological mind bender or whatever that is. And so yeah, because of that, this movie marks it up as one of the best for many movie fanatics, such as myself. Yeah, this movie was actually really cool. Alright, so that was The Usual Suspects, everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.